We light this chalice as a symbol of the spark of life which abides us and around us. May it be as a light in a dark night, a light in a window that welcomes the weary traveler home. May it be as a light in the hand of a trusted friend that guides us along the path. Words of the Reverend Linda Hart to light our chalice. Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. I'm grateful for your presence here in person as well as online. And whatever it is that's brought you into this space, it might be joy and celebration, it might be tears and sorrow. Maybe you've come looking for a few words of wisdom or a chance to connect with one another. Perhaps you've come simply to rest with the divine. Whatsoever reason that's brought you here, I hope you'll find it. I know you'll find a warm community, and I'm grateful that you're part of it today. So thank you very much for joining me today. So we lit our chalice with those words of Linda Hart, and we turn now to our call to worship, which brings us a bit deeper into this time together. These are the words of Sue Ayer. Spirit of life and love, we have gathered here in search of answers to hard questions. We have come in search of understanding, in search of community. We have come in search of hope and healing. Let this be a place not only of searching, but of discovery. Let this be a place not only of learning, but of wisdom. Let this be a place not only of meeting, but of connection. And let this be a place where healing fosters giving and hope fosters service. This is our prayer, that we may create here a circle of love, ever expanding, ever growing, as we seek to know you, the source of our being. Amen. Let us sing our first hymn in the Green Book, number 174, A Church is a Living Fellowship by Frank Clavern, hymn number 174. Let us gather into a time of prayer with these words of Edward Hayes.
Okay, the loo doesn't seem to be working.
Is this any better? No? Anything now? one more try. See if that works.
It's fine now.
Oh, it's fine? Okay, good.
Thank you.
No worries. So we turn to a time of prayer with these words of Edward Hayes. This is then followed by our covenant, which you'll find printed in your order of worship and will appear online. But first, these words. Divine and hidden friend, we often feel that we have failed at prayer, but rejoice that your Spirit prays ceaselessly in the cellar of our hearts. Grant us the grace to sit still, that we may hear the Spirit's silent song, ever flowing like a river deep within, singing our love for you. Quiet our restless hearts, calm our forgiving runaway minds, as now in communion with all the earth and her many children, we enter into the song of love and this prayer of stillness. Amen. And please read with me our covenant as found in the order of worship. We gather here in sacred fellowship to witness the fullness of our lives and all life, to hold and be held, tell stories and listen, to be renewed and renewed the world. We speak with care and patience. We act with gentleness and compassion. We forgive each other and ourselves. In faith that we build beloved community, we renew our covenant today. Amen. So today's story is written by Queen Rania al-Abdullah, the Queen of Jordan, as well as Kelly DiPuccio. There's some illustrations by Tricia Tusa, but I'm not sure if I have the legal rights to share those with you, so I'm very sorry for that. But this is the sandwich swap. And it all begins, not a long time ago, as many of our stories do, it all begins with a peanut butter and a jelly sandwich, and it ends with a hummus sandwich. About these two girls, Salma and Lily. And Salma and Lily were best friends at school. They drew pictures together, they played on the swings together, and they jumped rope together. They also ate their lunches together. But just what they ate was a little different. Lily ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day for lunch. Salma ate a hummus and pita sandwich every day for lunch. And although Lily never said it out loud, she thought Salma's sandwich looked weird and yucky. She felt terrible that her friend had to eat that icky chickpea paste every day. Ugh. And although Salma never said it out loud, she thought that Lily's sandwich looked strange and gross. And she felt just awful that her friend had to eat that gooey peanut butter paste every day. Well, then one day, Lily just couldn't hold back those pesky thoughts any longer. "Your sandwich looks kind of yucky," she blurted out. "What did you say?" Salma asked, thinking she must have misunderstood her friend. "I said your sandwich looks yucky." Salma frowned. She looked down at the thin, soft bread, and she thought of her beautiful, smiling mother as she carefully cut Salma's sandwich into two neat halves that morning. Her hurt feelings turned mad. "Yeah? Well, your sandwich looks gross, and it smells bad, too," Salma snapped back. Lily looked surprised. She sniffed the thick, squishy bread, and she thought of her dad in his silly apron, whistling as he cut Lily's sandwich into two perfect triangles that morning. Lily scowled. "It does not smell bad. Does too. Yuck. Gross." That afternoon, the friends did not draw pictures together. They did not swing together, and they did not jump rope together either. The next day, Salma ate her lunch at one table, and Lily ate her lunch at another. Meanwhile, the peanut butter versus hummus story had spread, and everyone began choosing sides. Each side had something not so nice to say to the other. Pretty soon the rude insults had nothing at all to do with peanut butter or hummus. "You're weird. You're stupid. You look funny. You dress dumb." And then it happened. And then somebody shouted, "Food fight!" Peanut butter and hummus sandwiches and other lunch favorites began flying back and forth between both sides of the lunchroom. They stuck to the walls, they stuck to the ceiling, they stuck to the lunch lady. When the sandwiches were all gone, pudding cups and applesauce and carrot sticks took flight. Salma and Lily looked at one another from across the rowdy, splattered room. They both felt ashamed at what they saw. They both felt really ashamed when the head teacher called them into her office, after they had helped clean up the mess, of course. The following day, Salma set her lunch down across Lily's. The two girls nibbled on their sandwiches in silence. Finally, Lily got up the courage to speak. "Would you like to try a bite of my peanut butter and jelly?" Salma grinned. "Sure, why not? Would you like to try my hummus and pita?" Lily laughed. "I'd like that." "On the count of 3? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This is delicious. This is heavenly." The girls giggled and hugged, and they traded sandwiches. After lunch, Salma and Lily met with the principal again. This time, they were there to suggest a very special event for the whole school. And I will show this photo that you can see. They've prepared a lovely picnic outside where they can all share their various sandwiches. And that's how it all began, with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and ended with a hummus and pita sandwich. The sandwich swap by Queen Rania Al Abdullah. I think I said princess before. Queen Rania of Jordan. I realized I should just, in case anyone's wondering, jelly is jam. So peanut butter and jam, that might help make a bit more sense now. But you have a chance to share your lives, your joys, your sandwiches, your celebrations, your fears. If you want to light a candle and say a few words, please do so. Please come to the microphone so those who are using the loop system, those who are online will be able to hear you. And if you are online, type into the chat box and we will read your message out. But you can light a candle in silence if you so wish. And as always, if you want to remain seated, holding your life in your heart, know that your presence here is enough. Nothing more is asked of you at this moment, just simply that you are. And this is a candle of joy and celebration. This past week, Ian, my father-in-law, and a member of this church, celebrated his 80th birthday, and we had a lovely gathering with family yesterday. So it was great to see some people I hadn't actually seen in a few years. I was grateful for the camaraderie and the chance to catch up with people.
The single candle is for two little people, one who's not so little and will be 14 tomorrow in our time, but is 14 already today because she lives in Australia, and she's finding being a teenager really hard, and so are her family. And a lovely little 3-and-a-bit-year-old who I've been spending time with this week in hospital. She developed an abscess in her neck following an ear infection, and so terrifying for such a little one, but she's recovered and came home last night, so that's great.
For all those joys and sorrows here spoken, and those that remain silently in our hearts. We come now to our next hymn, Tim Reeburn's "The Dove Will Fly on Mended Wing." The hymns are printed in your order of worship and will appear online. Religion, culture, creed, and race, each human spirit and each face. We have a period of meditation and reflection now. So let us enter into this time of contemplation. Forgiveness for the wounds of our heart. We seek forgiveness for the wounds in our mind. Forgiveness for the wounds upon our body. Forgiveness for the wounds within our Holy Family. Forgiveness for the wounds inflicted upon our friends. Forgiveness for the wounds upon the unknown stranger. Forgiveness for the wounds upon those we call our enemy. Forgiveness for the wounds upon all the creatures of the earth. Forgiveness for the wounds upon all of creation. Forgiveness for the wounds upon the cosmos. Forgiveness for the wounds upon the world's divinity. Forgiveness for all wounds, present and preserved. In the silence that follows, may the blessings of the universe wash over us, cleansing us of malice, ill will, and hatred, and supplying us with spiritual waters cascading into our souls. We come now to our next reading. This is by the Reverend Paula Jones. Practicing reconciliation is my personal spiritual discipline. It means I commit to being in right relationship with people in my life, and when I'm not, caring enough to face unresolved issues and improve the relationship. I keep 2 lists. One has the names of people with whom I need to reconcile. The other has names of people from whom I've begun reconciliation efforts. The lists keep my commitment in front of me. Each time I am able to move forward with another person, I draw a line through their name on the list of people with whom reconciliation is needed, and the list of people with whom I have begun reconciliation grows longer. I have learned to practice reconciliation in my personal relationships. I have also been learning to practice it across divides in our broken culture. From this experience, I have learned that reconciliation is a competency that we can bring to 4 levels of conflict: in our own souls, between individuals, within groups like congregations, between groups such as people of color like her, and dominant white culture. Reconciliation helps us to get into right relationship. A few words on reconciliation by the Reverend Paula Jones. Let us sing now, hopefully in a reconciled way, our next hymn, Trust in Life, in the Green Book, number 60, by Sidney Knight. Hymn number 60. Through our windows, we see the landscape of forgiveness, a verdant forest continuously giving birth and dying, the rivers hewing valleys out of the fields, forests rising up before great fires tear them down and change the soil, which accumulates and erodes over centuries. Rather than being repaired, the broken becomes a new entity, serving a new purpose. Out of life's endless cycles, pulsing with rhythmic harmony, out of undulations comes the growth of new plants. In one corner stands the Buddha, calming an elephant with 2 gestures. The animal, sent by a demon to trample the Buddha, is met with arms raised, the right hand palm forward in resistance, the left hand palm upward in cancellation. With this, the animal is able to return to its natural character, free of possession. Elsewhere, as recounted in Hindu's Mahabharata, Vinjura tells Dhritarashtra, "For forgiveness is a great power. Forgiveness is a virtue of the weak and an ornament of the strong. Forgiveness subdues all in the world. What is there that forgiveness cannot achieve? What can a wicked person do unto themselves who carry the saber of forgiveness in their hand? Fire falling on the grassless ground is extinguished of itself. An unforgiving individual defiles themselves with many enormities. Righteousness is the highest good, and forgiveness is the one supreme peace. Knowledge is one supreme contentment, and benevolence one sole happiness." Elsewhere in this garden we find Jesus forgiving. As John Hamilton Toms sees, Jesus forgave purely, not assuming that his culpability is relinquished through the forgiveness of others, not believing the actions for which he forgave were inconsequential, accepting the past, acknowledging it, weeping for it, so as to be able to carry on, knowing truly the land in which we walked. Elsewhere, prophets and religions abound. Muhammad is there saying, "You shall keep relationship with one who cut it from you. You shall give one who disappointed you, and you shall pardon one who oppressed you." Psychologists, too, are there, speaking of the health that one is given through forgiveness. Artists paint the landscape, and musicians sound its chord. Elsewhere, there is forgiveness of self, a refreshing point where our afflictions are accepted and we may move on. There is forgiveness of others, acknowledging hurt but reaching forward. Elsewhere, we might find dark corners, Saturnalian gardens. Forgiveness that has been given prematurely, understood incorrectly, miscommunications that led to arguments or steely silence. At the core is the fear of forgiveness, that in our unsheathing, in being made vulnerable, one may be hurt. That is a real risk of forgiveness. This land, ever shifting, is the nomad's land. Save for the inhabitants of the dark woods, this place is filled not with lost souls, but rather content pilgrims, adventurous explorers, and acknowledging that time carries ever onward. The forgiving nomad is not static, knowing that relationships can only continue if they remain fresh and alive. And this perpetual life is rooted in the riverbed of forgiveness, whose water is born from contact with the rock, split open by these 3 words: I forgive you. Or conversely, I am sorry. From here streams the life-flowing waters, ever renewing our spirits. Let us focus now on a small patch of forgiveness with a modern fable written by Jamie Oot. Imagine for a moment that you're standing with your friends in a park, enjoying a nice summer day. You don't know me, but I walk right up to you holding a frisbee. I wind up and I throw the disc right in your face. Understandably, you're a bit indignant. Through a bloody nose, you use a few choice words to ask me what on earth I thought I was doing. And my response? "Oh, I didn't mean to hit you. That was never my intent. I was simply trying to throw the frisbee to my friend over there." Visibly upset, you perhaps demand an apology, but I refuse. Or worse, I offer an apology that sounds like, "I'm sorry your face got in the way of my frisbee." think we've all been there, metaphorically, in one way or another. I never intended to hit you. As with other fables, there's a certain absurdity to it. Who would say this? Who would react this way? The vindictiveness and hostility is so glaring. The fault is so obvious. The truth, sadly, is that all have at some point responded this way, unknowingly excused ourselves of liability from our actions because our intention was pure. The challenge is recognizing that the aggression is far more subtle. Oot's conclusion is that this refusal to apologize is a form of privilege. Elements of life that one group may take for granted, assumptions that are projected through our media and culture, but sadly don't reflect a great number of people. When approached with an argument that our privilege has blinded us to the hurt that we have caused others, we often have a knee-jerk reaction to defend ourselves. We did nothing wrong. Plenty of others are in the same boat as us. Our intentions were pure. This story of the aggressive frisbee thrower demonstrates the reality that impact does not equal intent. We may say something with the best of intentions, but it may actually have hurt someone. Put another way, the best laid plans of mice and men. I took a leadership course a while ago, and they had a policy that they called ouch, oops. That if someone said something insensitive, the hurt party might calmly say ouch, and then the speaking person could reply with oops to acknowledge the fault and the pain, but to restore the relationship so the matter at hand might continue. This was achieved through calm interactions. However, outside of the group workshop, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, I did not intend to mean that, so you must be in the wrong. This reaction is rooted to the belief that we are what we do, which sounds sensible enough. We speak so often of putting our money where our mouth is, or walking the walk, not just talking the talk, of works and deeds, not words. We speak so often of the physical world, implying that what we see and do and hear is all that there is. If who we are is what we say, then it makes sense to defend what we say, for to fail to do this risks unmasking our own pure identity. If this identity is challenged by another, it becomes sensible for us to go on the offensive. One accused of saying something racist might think, but I'm not a racist, so my words aren't racist. Therefore, you must have misunderstood me or taken undue offense. People will seek to defend their words because so much is at stake. We are what we say. But is this completely fair? In our childhood, we accumulate our family's prejudices and patterns. Through the media and life, we are saturated in social norms that might be unjust. Are we not more than the sum of our parts? Even in the most rigid, materialist view of reality, it's the pattern, the combination of the parts, and not the parts themselves, that demand our admiration. So we are presented with two views of the human: the unyielding, whose identity has become enmeshed with all expression, who cannot face a challenge to their words for fear of losing their selfhood; an automaton that follows its course, wreaking havoc on the landscape. And then there is those that we've spoke about at the start, those inhabitants of the land of forgiveness, who recognize an undying goodness within their heart and consequently listen to the aggrieved, make repairs, set their course anew. Seeking forgiveness, then, or providing forgiveness when able, is a recognition of this spiritual field. The belief that we may begin anew, a proclamation that we are more than a sum of our parts, more alive than a machine rampaging through the wilderness. The readings that I encountered on that course with the ouch and oops frequently spoke of right relationship, forgiveness as restoring our bonds, whether it's between people, between oneself and God, or within ourselves. Reconciliation is rooted in a desire to return to a level spiritual balance, a spirit level, if you will. When we were working on our covenant, we began by asking ourselves a couple questions. And we began with just a couple statements. 7 words, in fact. You are only human.
an acknowledgement that life is imperfect, that our choices take us places that we may never imagine, and the need to enter into sacred covenant with those around whom we find ourselves. Secondly, we asked, how are you? Which is a simple question that affirms our community, which solidifies the just nature of our interactions. So to this, I think we might add 3 more words. I forgive you, or, if needed, I am sorry. A step towards affirming right relationship, remembering that as we are human and connected to this planet, it is the joining of hands after hurt that allows us to move on. 10 words, but from which comes the most beautiful of concepts, the bridge that ties our distant shores together. Amen. We have a few notices before we sing our final hymn. Printed on the back of the order of worship, we have communion today after the service. This is, for those unfamiliar, Unitarian communion just recognizes the sort of historic connection we have to Christianity and the sort of elements within. And for people who identify as Christian, it can be a sort of helpful boost for the month. Our communions are not required of anyone, and they're not barred from anyone. So if you want to participate, feel free. If you want to observe and watch it, that's great too. And if you just want to simply go through for the tea and coffee, then please do so. Is there anyone to help with tea and coffee today? Thank you, Edward, for the tea and coffee that we'll enjoy after the service. And thank you as well, because after the tea and coffee, we have Faith in Action, which Edward will be leading, so please do stick around for that. Then this week, on Friday the 12th at 1 p.m., we have Aaron is going to be tickling the ivories and tickling our souls with some fantastic music. Did you want to speak to it? You've said all there is. So it's going to be spectacular. There was you released an EP on Bandcamp this past Friday, so do check that out if you want a preview. And of course, you're here every week, so you can hear a preview then as well. So that's Friday the 12th at 1 p.m. On the 16th of June, that's Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. It says at MMC, but it's actually at the Ascension Church in Hume. There will be an interfaith dialogue specifically looking at refugees as part of Refugee Week. And then we welcome Zilua Hong and friends for our Friday lunchtime recital on the 26th at 1 p.m. All our Friday lunchtime recitals are free, but we're grateful for contributions which go to the artists to recognize their time, talent, and energy. Are there any announcements or notices from the congregation? Let us then sing our final hymn in the Purple Book, this time, number 147, Leon Mitchell's Spirit of Earth, Root, Stone, and Tree, hymn number 147.
Stay on the
Thank you, Aaron, for that fantastic music. Thank you, Sonia, for these gorgeous flowers, and for you and me helping to set up and to greet. Thank you, Edward, for the tea and coffee that we're about to enjoy. And thank you to everyone for creating and sharing worship today. We close with these words from Kuala Lumpur. First, I enter my inner temple, sprinkle waters from the sacred basin in a pure act of forgiveness. Next, to complete my forgiveness, I open wide the doors of my inner temple to the one I have forgiven.